Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin healing in terms of Bitcoin dominance, going through the motions. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, we've talked a lot about how the Bitcoin dominance is likely going to head much higher. And really, you're sort of seeing that play out right now, right? And what we're talking about is how when Bitcoin goes through these choppy phases, like it's in, the dominance will in fact go a lot higher. And we saw this happen back in 2018 as well, upon first putting in the lower low. Okay, so Bitcoin put in a lower low. It was choppy for a while. Bitcoin dominance during this period from June 2018 through November. If we go check on the Bitcoin dominance from that time, June through November, you can see that the Bitcoin dominance was going up until about September, and then it leveled off a little bit going into the end of the year. But during that first initial phase, after the first lower low was in, the dominance shot up quite a bit. And it really shows the sort of the course of action that Bitcoin has to take in order for the overall market to heal. So the reason I say that is because a lot of people are used to sort of altcoins outperforming Bitcoin when Bitcoin's in a bull market, but we know that when Bitcoin's in a bear market, it's in fact Bitcoin that outperforms almost everything else. And then also we know that a lot of times Bitcoin has to go parabolic again for there to be any sustained alt season. And I'm not talking about, a rally off the most recent local low that people want to pair it as an alt season. I'm talking about a sustained alt season with new highs and 50% gains every single week, that kind of thing. Okay, there's a big difference between what an alt season is and what some people think that it is, all right? So with that in mind, we can see the dominance is now heading higher. And what you're noticing is that as Bitcoin dumps, you'll see altcoins in general dump harder. But then when Bitcoin pumps back up, it outperforms the altcoins. So altcoins are unable to keep up with Bitcoin during Bitcoin pumps, generally speaking, but they're also quick to give back any gains they might have had during Bitcoin dumps. And that leads to the further devaluation of the alt Bitcoin pairs. All right. Now, with that said, I know there's some of you that are going to point to some altcoins and say, well, such and such altcoin has been outperforming Bitcoin. I would encourage you to perhaps go look at something more than just like a weekly candle, right? If there's an altcoin outperforming Bitcoin, go look at the last 3 months, and most of them are just in systematic downtrends. Okay, and even the ones that I like. I mean, it's not even. I'm not just picking on any specific altcoin that I don't own. I'm saying a lot of altcoins are in for a reckoning against Bitcoin, right? I don't even consider ETH an alt, but I still would argue, and I've put out many videos now on Ether Bitcoin and why I think it's going down for probably the remainder of the year. And every time I put out a video on the Ether Bitcoin valuation, of course, it's going to get some hate discussing that it's likely going to go down for a while. But that's just the way it is. I mean, normally in the second half of the year, and especially in a bear market, you see the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation bleed. But you can also go look at things like ADA Bitcoin. And yes, it's up off of its most recent local low, but it's still in a macro downtrend, right? You can go look at dot Bitcoin and see that it's in a pretty macro downtrend. Link Bitcoin, again, in a pretty macro downtrend. And you can just sort of go through the motions here and look at all of these altcoins that are just in systematic downtrends against Bitcoin, right? I mean, Litecoin, Maker, Uni, Theta, look, they're all just in macro downtrends against Bitcoin. And BNB has been holding up about as good as you could expect, but it also held up relatively well up until mid 2018, and then it started to bleed. So I'm guessing that BNB Bitcoin will also start to come back down. So when you think about where the market is today, and you talk about how does it heal? Well, in order for the market to heal, we need this choppy price action. Why? Because it washes all Bitcoin pairs out. Right? It devalues them. Bitcoin could be at 30K in 2 or 3 months, but your altcoins are likely going to be further down in their Bitcoin valuations. Because if Bitcoin is at 30K in a few months, the Bitcoin pairs will likely continue to go down because, again, as I said before, anytime Bitcoin pumps, alts won't generally keep up with it. And then anytime Bitcoin dumps, alts will likely dump worse than Bitcoin. And you can see that reflected on basically all of the alt Bitcoin charts. Okay. So all of that is reflected in the fact that the Bitcoin dominance is continuing to soar. And, in May, we said it'll likely reach 45%. It reached 46. I think we're easily going to go above 50% in June. So look for that. Look to see if at least a 50% Bitcoin dominance in June, which is likely going to further represent the fact that all Bitcoin pairs are bleeding, or perhaps the stablecoin dominance could also be coming down if people are finally no longer gambling in the altcoin casino, but picking up blue chip. So we are going through the motions right now, right? Bitcoin is going through the motions. It's range bound, it's choppy, it's washing alt Bitcoin pairs out, and basically it'll lead to a healthier market, and then Bitcoin will use all of that fuel that it gets from all the altcoins. The altcoin market bleeds back into Bitcoin, and then you need what? That catalyst again, the narrative, and then Bitcoin goes on another bull run. And it just sucks in the liquidity from so many other areas in the market. It goes on a bull run. It leaves altcoins behind, and then after Bitcoin goes parabolic, then you'll see a lot of altcoins run again. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy altcoins until Bitcoin goes parabolic again. What I'm saying is that in over the next several months, you're likely going to see alt Bitcoin pairs bleed. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what to do, but in general, if you think alt Bitcoin pairs are going to bleed and Bitcoin is inherently less risky than altcoins, especially with all these regulatory concerns and whatnot, then you have to figure out what risk you're okay with. So let's keep an eye on Bitcoin. I know we've talked about getting that June relief rally. We're currently at 31K. I hope we get it. I hope we get the relief rally up into the mid to upper 30s. If we do, keep an eye on the 200-day SMA. Which, just to give you a brief update on, it's currently at 41.5, but I mean, it's still moving down relatively quickly. But anyways, it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't matter. Right? No matter what Bitcoin does, more than likely, alt Bitcoin pairs are going to bleed. And it's going through the motions for healing, for a healthier market. And then once we have that healthier market, we can then go into another sustained bull run that'll likely actually lead us to new all-time highs. Okay, until then, Bitcoin's likely just going to keep sucking all the liquidity out of the altcoin projects, and you'll likely see the dominance continue to head much higher. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Remember to check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. You can lock in the lower rate. You will get access to the weekly reports, weekly videos, the website with on-chain data, social data, derivatives data, regression charts, ROI charts, etc. Make sure you check it out. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe. See you next time. Bye.